Good morning, Dubai. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Our top story today, the UAE is the best country for entrepreneurship in 2022.
We'll also be talking about WhatsApp outage yesterday and how everyone was freaking out.
Everyone, every single person. Our next story, 2 men in Abu Dhabi were found with garbage bags full of pills.
And then how to master your money, the growth outlook with Standard Chartered.
And we are so excited. Later in the show, we have James Smith. He's at Dubai Active this weekend. He's going to be talking all things Dubai Active. And also, we want to get a little tips on confidence from the man himself.
From James Smith. Oh my God, the questions that we have ready to drill him with. You guys want to stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. And then also, we have a big announcement this week. We have two big announcements this week. Number one, as you guys know, the Mubadala World Tennis Championship is coming. And stay tuned because we have some big player announcements coming this week. And also tomorrow on the show, we have the one, the only, Jason Derulo. We are so excited. We are melting as we say it. That's all coming up this week. We're so excited. It's Wednesday and
Jason
I'm flustered.
Derulo! But that's tomorrow. But this morning, we have an exciting giveaway kept for you guys. And it's the cutest thing.
It's the cutest thing. We want to talk about it. It's a homegrown business. We love small businesses who are doing the most. And also, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship in a sec. This is an example of that. But also, this is Flow Ferry. It's a new business. And it's talking about periods. That time of the month that comes around for ladies. We never really have an opportunity to talk about it. But this is actually made to make that time of the month a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
There's some negative connotations of periods. This is made, maybe you know someone younger who's going through it for the first time, or maybe just because they can be painful. They can be uncomfortable. And we never have the conversations about them. And that's why Flow Ferry is amazing. So we're going to give this away on the show. If you want the Flow Ferry, just write at Flow Ferry because we have a lot of comments coming through. Put at Flow Ferry and look, it's a whole thing.
The contents are okay, so I'll read them out and then we'll show them one by one.
Cozier, yeah.
Okay, so our very own Flow Ferry customized pads.
So there's customized pads, there's sockies.
There's a heart rose quartz.
For a bath, because all you want to do is chill in a bath if you're feeling
That's a bath bomb.
A bath bomb, I thought that's what you meant.
No, so there's a lavender heat pack.
Oh my days,
Where's
amazing.
the heat pack?
And if you guys know the singer Alia Sings, we had her on the show before. She's the model, so she's like the fairy in all of this.
Oh my God.
And it smells like lavender.
So it's her and her mom who have started this initiative, and it's so sweet because we need this. Imagine have gotten a hamper for your first time. It would have just made you feel all that much more pampered, special, like, oh, it's a new phase of your life. Like, it's a very celebratory thing, you know, it turns it into.
Opens up the conversation.
Exactly.
Because I don't know about you, but like.
It's awkward.
It's awkward. Like, could not deal with the conversations when I was like 12, 13, and my mom gave me some pads, you know, just in case, because I was going away to school. And it was like, there were these big, gross orange packet, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I was so embarrassed, and I couldn't have the conversation. But this makes it just makes it a little bit cuter, and it makes it a little bit nicer. And I think it's such a great business, and I love the conversation opening up.
For sure, even like it doesn't have to be your mom gifting you this, you know. It's a conversation even dads can have now, because it's just like it's a hamper you give, and everything is just very sweet and feminine about it. So you have this conversation and you're like, you know, this is something for you. It's just very sweet. So they also have herbal tea, marshmallow root, rosebud, cinnamon, candles, Flow Ferry stickers. And so literally a TLC when you're on your period kit.
Literally, that is what it is. It smells amazing. It's Flow Ferry at Flow Ferry DXB if you're interested. But guys, love the initiative, love the homegrown entrepreneurship spirit. And we want to give this away to one lucky person. So just mention Flow Ferry. I see some comments coming through, but just mention Flow Ferry right here. Love the women's support also. So just get your things in. Is this okay, Richie? Is this fine there? It's perfect. Okay, guys, let's jump into our top story today. The UAE is the best country for entrepreneurship in 2022. So this is according to the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. The UAE ranked first as the best country for entrepreneurs. This is followed by Netherlands, Finland, and Saudi. Now, the study is the world's first and foremost study of entrepreneurship. They've been running since 1999. And locally here in the UAE, of course, people stand the study.
So Memento Vitae event said, for sure, UAE are the best place to launch a business, as a French company recently opened in Dubai. I feel very inspired by the greatness of this place.
And then Martin Kalang said, not surprised, UAE is first about as it's the best country in the world. What's interesting is that Memento, they obviously gave themselves a little shout out in the comments because that's what you do. But do you agree that we see entrepreneurship on so many levels here? And I really do. Like, this is a study that says we're the best, but also I think that on ground level, you sense that among residents and among the community.
Yeah, like in different countries, right? Like when you grow up watching TV and shows, you see like kids starting off their lemonade stands. You see, you know, like people just starting off their small businesses, like garbage sales. What's it? Garage sales, garbage sales. And over here, it's like you take those concepts and you build on it, and you really see people going all out, like SMEs. People have the drive over here, and they do something about it because we have all the resources. The government has made it so easy, and they've given like a step by step. If you want to start your business, we are here to support you. This is how you can do it. So of course, like it's a no-brainer that Dubai is the UAE is the top place for entrepreneurship.
And then there's all the virtue zones that help you start out and get your licenses, and they make it as easy for you as possible. Like, look, this is a solid example. I've put it out of frame, but like Flow Ferry, this is, you know, a mom and her daughter who saw a need for something, and rather than just being like, this would be a cute idea, they went out and made it. And if you guys know the Right Market, love the Right Market, every weekend it takes place at different places around the city, and it's small stalls of like homegrown. It could be food, it could be crafts, it could be jewelry, and these, you know, people in their small businesses, but making it happen. And it's this kind of sense that you get in the city where there's like salons. Yeah. Like, and we're super lucky in the show that we always get to meet people coming through the door who are doing incredible things. But it's not. I don't think it's our like privileged position here that we get to meet people. I think it's just a general sense across the city that it's the vision and the leadership of impossible is nothing. And that actually just trickles down to us.
Exactly. And just the fact that everything's so accessible for people, like if you want to find out more information, if you want to know where to register, where to put in your documents, like it's all there. It's all there. Like it's one Google away.
You know what was not accessible yesterday?
Oh, it was not. WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
That's a good segue. So WhatsApp was down and everyone freaked out yesterday. So WhatsApp faced a technical glitch, and as users were unable to send or receive messages, and everyone jumped onto Twitter to make sure it was really broken. And
they did.
And that's where you saw the memes, and that's where you saw the hashtag WhatsApp down trending. And Meta, they shared a statement saying, we are aware that some people are currently having trouble sending messages, and we are working to restore WhatsApp for everyone as quickly as possible.
Which they did. So it was down for about an hour. They after confirmed that yes, it was down, something that we already knew. I think it was down for about 70,000 users. It felt like more, judging by the number of hashtags that went on Twitter. But I love that everyone jumped to Twitter, and it's the memes that get me every time. You know, my favorite one is, we have it on the show if you're looking at it on Facebook, is there's like like a smorgasbord or electronics board
server.
full of a circuit board and server, and there's just a guy being like...
There's a guy with Mark Zuckerberg's face, so with a sticker of Mark Zuckerberg's face, so it's just like Mark is at the server trying to fix it. It's so funny. Anything goes down, how he's just like pulled into it.
Well, it's Meta, so it's the same company, but it's just like, you can imagine how they are freaking out. I imagine one person just staring at the circuit board, but there must be thousands of engineers. Like, you know, when you have an issue at work and you can kind of get away with it, you can nearly go for a coffee and let it simmer. But yesterday, in WhatsApp building, it must have been like all hands on deck. I want to know why, though. How?
They haven't released a statement as to why, but it was like, I remember, like, personally, when I realized my WhatsApp was down, I tried everything. My phone, turn it off, turn it back on. It's the same that you do when you realize any app is down, right? You think it's a problem with you. You think you're the problem. But now you're realizing it's not us. It's
That's what society did. When you think it's you, but it's you.
It wasn't us. It was them. And then you realize, oh, no one's WhatsApp is working. Then the next step, Twitter.
But this is true because we're used to Instagram recently. Instagram has its problems. WhatsApp, it was that like little dial that kept going, and you're thinking, Yeah, so you do. I did the Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah.
But you were, and then as soon as you go on Twitter and everyone else is having the same thing, you understand that everyone is in panic mode because we do not know how to communicate outside of WhatsApp. Like I wouldn't even know, and then I'm like, please don't call me. If you need me, please don't call me.
Well, it was a good day for bosses. I must say, like WhatsApp being down, social media being down is just a good day
because we actually did
bosses.
work.
I know we work regardless. I'm talking about like others, the others.
So it was a good day so people actually did work.
Yeah.
No, because they're building your memes.
They're building their memes. Oh yeah.
You're on Twitter, and Twitter is like, I love Twitter as a platform because it's a conversation. You get real responses, and I think people enjoy. And I imagine the Twitter office was busy.
Someone yesterday on Instagram put up a meme. WhatsApp was down, but then there was a picture of the guy just like sitting and chilling, and the next line was, because no one WhatsApps me anyway.
The thing. Yeah, if you ever get a message on if you ever get like a DM, you're thinking, oh, my DMs actually work. That's nice. Let's jump into our next story. 2 men in Abu Dhabi were found with garbage bags full of pills. Now, before we jump into the story, a reminder that the UAE has a zero tolerance to drugs, and there are strict measures in place to keep our cities and crime off our streets. And this is just another story of crafty smugglers who were foiled. So Abu Dhabi police arrested 2 men attempting to smuggle narcotics into neighbouring countries.
Now, investigators monitored the men's movements, tracking the drugs outside the country, but foiled them once they arrived in Abu Dhabi with the drugs, which they hid in garbage bags. And police said that smugglers are using multiple methods to smuggle drugs, but the police have a proactive approach and are working constantly to keep the drugs poison off our streets.
We've talked about the crafty way these smugglers have been apprehended by UAE authorities. So now there's rolled up garbage bags that we can add to that list. There's been banana skins. There's been shampoo bottles. Recently there was lined luggage.
Lined luggage, linen. Like that's the one that always sticks with me, like how they managed to put in linen. But yeah, such, like you said, crafty ways, garbage bags. I remember watching that one episode of the one on Netflix that was really scary. D something. We spoke about it.
The most recent one that's really scary, but that's not a drug one. Dahmer.
And there was this one incident.
The trending thing with the murderer.
No,
you watched that?
Dahmer, the same one. Okay. So there was an incident during the show where he was explaining to the documentarist or whatever that he had a body bag in the garbage bag, and the police stopped him, and yet he got away with it. But not if you were in Dubai.
Because in Dubai, they would have known that you were leaving the house with the bag, because in this case, the guys brought the narcotics into the UAE, but actually authorities were tracking their movements from outside of the country, waited for them to come in, and then busted them.
Yikes, yikes, yikes. Another day, another drug story, another drug bust actually. But our next story is something, if you're looking for money management, you would want to stay tuned for. So master your money, the growth outlook with Standard Chartered.
And after that, we have James Smith live in studio. So do stay tuned. He's going to be with us right after this. Welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. We live in the city of dreams. It's a city that sells a big dream, and we're hustling to make sure we can achieve ours. To get there, we need to understand the 101 of liquidity. So I'm challenging Amy, Shahir, and you, putting your knowledge of liquidity with Standard Chartered to the test. Buzzers at the ready, gang. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks. I'm excited to take Shahir down again.
I'm gonna get you.
Are you ready?
I'm gonna get you this time.
If you watched before, Amy was the winner by a smidgen. By a smidgen. Okay, so...
No. Not by a smidgen. I let you have a couple. I very much showed my economic financial prowess.
Well, I'm gonna get you this time, so we're gonna see what's what.
You ready?
Fighting words, guys. Okay, so a quick recap of the game. We do 6 questions, true or false. When you know the answer, buzz, not before. Question 1.
I feel like she's attacking me.
Yeah, she is.
Okay. Question 1. In oil exporting economies, liquidity is helped by higher oil prices.
Ladies first, I'll let you have it.
Yes, true.
Correct. 1 point for Sammy Jones.
I'll let you.
I've never seen you move so quickly in my life, though. So that let me. Cool.
The one gang.
I'm so competitive.
Question 2, true or false? The Gulf outlook for the region was less positive for the last Q3 than the global outlook.
False.
Smashed it. Why?
Because it wasn't. Like, oil trade is massive and it's been going crazy. And obviously, a lot of the oil comes from the Middle East, and the world itself is a little bit messed up right now. So, obviously, that is simple terms of making you sound now really smart.
Amy has come to play. The Gulf outlook for the region was more positive from the previous quarter than the global outlook. 2 points to Miss Amy Jones.
Thanks.
Question 3.
Sorry.
True or false? Foreign exchange reserves are cash and other reserve assets. I'm going to start that again. Question 3. Foreign exchange reserves are cash and other reserve assets such as gold held by the central bank.
True.
Correct. 3 points for Amy Jones. This is it.
I have no idea what these questions are. Like, I don't know whether or not they're true or false.
Smashing it, Amy. Smashing it.
Do you not read a newspaper?
This is why we're doing the segment. I'm getting educated.
There you go. On how to get schooled by Amy Jones. Continue.
It's okay.
Hang on, how many questions have we got?
3.
3 down, 3 points to Amy, 3 to go.
Oh, okay. We can still tie.
Sure, we'll see about that. Okay.
Well, you can't win.
I know.
It's basic maths. Oh, sorry.
Basic economics.
Financial liquidity. Question 4.
Sure.
True or false? Financial liquidity refers to the simplicity in which an asset can be converted into monetary cash to either spend or invest.
True.
Correct.
Well done. It's because I read it out to him before we came here.
Not true.
3-1. Still in the running, Shahir.
I got this.
You have. Come on.
Question 5. Liquid assets in an account provide account holders with immediate access for large or small purchases.
True.
Is it? Did she win?
I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Well, there's still one question to go. Let's keep you on the scoreboard. Let's get more than 1 point. Amy, you have won the game. But we're still going to finish it, considering we're learning here. We're getting educated.
Okay.
Final question.
Thank you.
That must hurt. When assessing current liabilities, bank overdrafts and cash credit are not considered in the calculation.
True.
You nailed that! Congratulations! When assessing current liabilities, bank drafts and overdrafts and cash credit are not considered in the calculation. However, we still have an Amy Jones winner, 4-2. She smashed it again, second time, second winner. Well done.
I'll let you have it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You know, I really read up about this subject and strive to educate all of you. I
have to say, the last time we played, you came in and you were a little bit meek at the beginning of the game. And I do think
fighting talk, Casey.
No, meek, you were like you said that, you read a newspaper but you hadn't been catching up. I think she's done some private studying because you were ready today. You came out of it, you were ready.
To be honest, I was paying much more attention today.
And I learned a lot, I guess.
No, learned a lot today.
To tell us more about liquidity and what it means in our region, we have a video from Carla Slim, who is the Director and Economist of MENAP Regional Research at Standard Chartered Bank, as she explores the liquidity outlook. Middle East and North Africa Talks by Standard Chartered. Don't forget to follow Standard Chartered Bank on Instagram right now at Standard Chartered UAE for all of their tips.
Our liquidity outlook for the region is also quite diverse. In the oil exporting economies, liquidity is helped by higher oil prices, but we are seeing some decoupling of the traditional correlations that we tend to expect in our region, with FX reserves not rising as fast as we would expect them given higher oil prices.
Welcome back to Lovin Dubai show. Dubai Active is kicking off this Friday, and to give us the inside scoop on what to expect is the best-selling author known for his no-bull approach to life and headliner Dubai Active. We have James Smith in studio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Not at all.
You have spoken in front of thousands and thousands of people. You do not get stage fright at all?
I get excited, but more like performance anxiety, to the sense that I'm hyper competitive. So I'm so concerned with just getting the talk right that I don't get too caught up with how many people are there or what's really happening. There's something that's out of my control. So no, not too much. More so just very much that I can say things in the right way. But I don't see it as a really beneficial emotion to have before doing something. But it took a bit of time to get to that point.
But people say nerves are good, but what's the line of like over preparation? Because if you have like a lot of gigs coming up, and what's the point of like, okay, I've done too much preparation if you're extremely competitive?
So there's a term that I kind of learned from when I was at sports psychology at college. You have like an optimal amount of arousal for a task. So maybe if there was only 2 people watching this, you might not feel, too engaged in your best performance. But if there were 10 million, it would be too much. There's a sweet spot for that arousal point where you have an optimal amount of anxiety, but also drive to do the task. Then over time, it's about getting that sweet spot and just getting it to the right position. So I suppose another big part of that is starting smaller and building your way in. So I think that I used to do talks. My first talk was like 7 people. Then my first event in the theatre was to like 45 and 2 left when I started swearing. So, we've been working it through. I suppose a big shot of it is more so people just seeing the latter stages of growing that.
So you're so incredibly inspirational and people love listening to your podcasts. On social media, you have more than 1 million followers. So for those who don't know you, like tell us a little about yourself.
So personal trainer by trade. I was very much stuck in the corporate world. I used to wear a suit and tie every day. And I could, it just wasn't right. I haven't clean shaved since that day, to the point that I was like, how is everyone doing these jobs? How do people do this? It just wasn't for me, although some people find that super successful. So I became a personal trainer. More so, I just wanted a job that I'd enjoy. And then when I was 24 being a PT, I was like, wow, I could do this for the rest of my life. And I started utilizing social media as a tool for the business. I only ever wanted 10 clients that would pay me well. I was like, if I get 10 clients that see me for 3 hours a week, they'd be like CEOs or whatever. I could then just manage 10 clients and that would be me forever. And the social media thing just got a bit carried away. And to be perfectly honest, I do the same things now that I did in the early stages, trying to obtain clients. And then with that comes the book deals, the talks. It is just one little experiment that's got very carried away and out of control.
Book deals, podcasts. Are you still personal training?
I have an online personal training app where basically I get the methodologies, I hire coaches, which is excellent as well, because now a lot of the coaches that work for me are fully online. So I can take someone who's experienced in gym coaching, people I know, and say, hey, do you want to work remote and help me service my client base? And they're obviously very happy to do the job. And yeah, so the personal training element, not so much face-to-face. And the thing is, I could have 10 hyper wealthy clients, but then I'm only helping 10 people. And even in Dubai this week, I got offered a pretty crazy amount of money to train someone. But the crazy part is, I could take that crazy amount of money.
How much do they offer?
Is some of the ones in London are pretty crazy as well. I'm not going to disclose because I feel like I'm doing them dirty a little bit. But
they won't see this.
But in London, it was up to £1,000 an hour, which is absurd. But the thing is, I would rather say, give me that hour, give me my laptop, and let me try and convince 100 people to join my program. Not only does that mean that I can cater to people that maybe can't afford personal training, but I like the idea of helping 100 people more than one super wealthy person. And also that super wealthy person doesn't need me. He can afford any coach. He's just picking them out. Oh, this guy's funny, I'll have him for an hour. Yeah. Whereas I think that when I was a PT for so long, there are masses of people that were overlooked. If you can't afford, I don't know what the rate is here, probably, I don't know, near 100 euros an hour or something crazy. If you can't afford that, people just say, oh, you can't afford PT, you don't get help. But a lot of my services now I charge online are cheaper for a month than it used to be for an hour. So I get very excited by the idea of training more people at a lower rate, because I felt like a fraud my entire career. Any PT that's watching this, they will feel like a fraud. When we earn the money from someone, we go, wow, I wouldn't pay me that much for an hour.
Interesting.
So it was.
I paid my first PT ever this morning. I think I wonder if he thinks the same.
He or she will put on this bravado, like, yeah, thanks, we're going to get you the results. But inside, they're like, wow, it feels like robbery.
Well, speaking of like quick approaches to things, and if it feels like robbery. So, for example, your book, How to Be Confident, if you have like a noble approach to things, is it as easy as that?
It's it was a very exciting task to write a book about confidence because I'm not a massively confident person, and people think that's a crazy assumption. They're just seeing the latter stage of lots of experience, and I got some lessons very early on in life that I kind of divulge in the book. One of which is I used to work in door-to-door sales, selling gas and electric to people that already had gas and electric, and this was in Gloucester in the middle of winter in the UK, and I would have to knock on 100 doors to get one person that would even let me in. So I became very accustomed with failure. So then when people see my social media strategy, they go, that's a confident guy. I became so comfortable with things going wrong that I built an incredible relationship to failing, which makes me appear confident. So the project and the book and a lot of my work now is about getting people to be comfortable with that. There's a utility to failure. Every time something goes wrong, we actually inch closer to being more competent. And competency and confidence sit on a spectrum. And really the main takeaway is that working in sales, marketing, and making hundreds of phone calls a day, when you can have this thick skin to things not going the way you desire, that's what makes you seem confident. Whether it's asking a boss for a pay rise or approaching someone in a bar, the person that does it audaciously and without fear, it's not his relationship to success or hers that makes him seem confident, it's his relationship to failing at the task. And if he gets rejected or embarrassed or whatever, they often will come back unfazed. So even just that as a little snippet, rather than sitting here as a guru of like, hey guys, I'm going to make you confident. I'm here like, hey, why don't we appreciate the feeling and relationship we have with failing? And that's a good start. Whether your blog doesn't get any views or your video doesn't get any likes or whatever it is, if you're completely happy with that, some of my social media posts, even 2-3 years in, got 1 like. I've got screenshots. And it was the days that I posted 3 videos I thought would go viral and I lost followers. A lot of people use that as a reason to stop. I used it as a reason to motivate myself to do more.
That's incredible and so well said, because you see people who have been fat all their lives, they lose the weight. I mean, like you know, on the heavier side, they lose the weight and they're so confident, and that's because they are used to, like, they develop a thick skin when they're, you know, in that phase of life. And or you meet like these people who have only tasted failure, and then when they rise, it's like, you know, just the fact that they have the thick skin, it speaks a lot about their confidence. So it's so well said. But is this what you talk about in your 100 minutes to become confident?
Yeah, so the talk, I take a lot of the different concepts that I've spoken about, whether it's getting people to understand, first of all, there's a utility to failure, and that there is a certain amount of things you need to do, or a certain, let's say there's a certain number of times you need to do something to be successful. Now, I can't tell you that number. It might be, let's say, dating. Again, people think that dating is a very shallow topic to use for confidence or to use as an example, but being lonely is a big issue for people in the world. And I think that people need to, if you're in a relationship as well, there's no guarantee you're still going to be in a relationship in a year's time. So, sorry. But even with that way.
That's fair. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, it's a fair point. And people need to be ready for that. And if I said to someone like, hey, you're not a confident person, but I reckon if you talk to 40 people, you'll find love. Cool, we'll go talk to 40 people. Someone wants to be a YouTube sensation, and I say to them, I think you need to make 1,000 videos before you get a strong subscriber base. Cool, go make 1,000 videos. Someone in a sales center or someone running a business that needs to cold call prospects. Okay, I think you need to make 15 telephone calls before you can move someone to, you know, proposing a sale. There's nothing really that exists outside doing the work. And when people can understand that, it can actually make them feel a lot better about it. So it's about giving people the tools, not about fluffing them up or, you know, being a guru that's like, yeah, guys, believe in yourself. I think there's a danger to people just saying that they can manifest their desires, or that they can stand in a toilet cubicle with their arms above their head to boost their testosterone or whatever some TED Talks have said online. I think that can do people a disservice when there's real tangible things that we can not only put into practice, but tangible approaches that I've had over the years. And the most annoying thing is that people could look at me now and say, oh, he's just a confident person. And it's so far from the truth that it was a very enjoyable project writing the book.
Touching on that and the approaches that you're suggesting to people, so they work for you, and I understand that it's a mindset shift, but do you ever get concerned that it won't work for everyone? So for example, both of us want to have a healthy, flexible gym life, and you'll tell us like, this is what you need to do to get there, read this book, or like follow this approach, but is it going to work for everyone?
Well, let's say there are 10 lessons in a book. You only need one of them to work to change your trajectory in life. So I don't think we need to even look at everything as working. but can something change your perception? Can something change your beliefs about something? And there are tasks and things you could do. So let's say you're someone who's like, I can't do any of the things we've spoken about so far. Tim Ferriss, one of my favorite authors, I took something from one of his books and put it in mine and said to ask for 10% off your next cup of coffee. And the idea isn't that you get 10% off the coffee, it's that you look like an idiot when you ask for it. And the fear, the emotions, the doubt, everything that fills you up before doing it, it's only afterwards that you realize it wasn't that bad. And that's something that anyone listening to this could do today. There'll be a lot of people maybe in the Dubai Marina that look like cheapskates.
Put yourself in the center of embarrassment.
And then there's no harm that's going to come of that. Absolutely no harm. The only thing that you are left with is whether or not you attempt to do it. And you will come out of that, the other side, going, wow, my biggest fears, my biggest critics, my biggest enemies exist only within my imagination. And there are so many times that we can look at this in our life. And again, whether it's talking to a stranger, even if they reject you, that's a compliment for them if you do it chivalrously enough. If you say to your boss, hey, I want to be given more responsibility at work, that's going to remain in their minds when a next project or task comes up. Or it might be someone working on a passion project, or working with these voices in their head, because we all have voices in our head that say it's not going to work out, that's not going to be a good idea, you're not going to be successful with that, what if it doesn't work out? And another part of the book is about understanding biases that exist in our mind. All of us have a pessimistic bias where we always expect a bad outcome. I joke that if I get a pain in my side, my first emotion is, I'm going to die. That's it, guys. I had a promising career. This is me gone. Loss aversion is another one where, say you're walking down the street, if you were to find 100 dirhams on the floor, you'd be like, oh, that's nice. Cool, 100 dirhams. But if you lose 100 dirhams, you're like, oh my God, where is it? This is the most annoying thing. This is the worst start to my day. There isn't an even balance between losses and wins. And because of that, we clutch hold to things more than we can even appreciate the benefit of something else. So if you're in a job that doesn't fulfill you, the idea of losing that feels psychologically much worse than the idea of gaining a better job. Having a partner that doesn't serve you or support you fully, the idea of losing that person, even if you don't particularly love them as much as you thought you might have, feels worse giving that up than it does finding or falling in love with someone better. So with all of these kind of biases we have in our mind, we need to also appreciate that they are getting in the way of us. The voices in our head are going to stop us. And if we believe those voices, we're only putting up more barriers between where we are and where we want to be. And it's only when we cross those barriers that we can look back retrospectively and realize that nothing was as scary or as big as it was in our imagination.
Strong learnings, guys. Strong learnings. And if you're just joining the show, we have the incredible James Smith here with us in studio. He's going to be at Dubai Active this weekend. Are you going to be dishing out that type of tips on stage, or what's going on?
Yeah, we've got the C Word live on the Friday evening, which is going to be a lot of that coming in.
We have a lot of people planning to go.
But Durin's talk as well, where he's going to be using some different concepts of the confidence crisis. And ultimately, if anyone had any questions or any topics they wanted covered that I maybe didn't cover, I'd be happy to talk to them about it at the event as well.
Are you good off the cuff when people throw questions out?
Yeah.
I think he's proved that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to think so. And also, I would say probably one of my best superpowers is just saying when I don't know. So if someone says, hey, what do you think about this? I go, mate, I don't know. Sorry.
But so far, everything you've said in my head, I'm just like, preach! Like, on point advice and things you wouldn't expect to hear traditionally. Like, put yourself in the middle of embarrassment, use your failures to fuel your confidence. Like, you don't traditionally hear that. You hear very different, like a different path. People go in to give advice on how to be confident. Like, look at the audience and picture them naked. That's the kind of stuff, the kind of tips you hear. So that's incredible. So more of that in Dubai Active.
Yeah, and again, even some of the things you spoke about before, everyone has really big goals and big things that they find really scary. We can break them down and make them very small. So let's say approaching a stranger is the scariest thing you've ever imagined. Can you say hello to a stranger? Everyone can do that. For me, with the talks, when I initially did my first talk, or presenting for an hour on a complex topic, can I do that? Oh, it's a bit scary. Okay, can I make one slide that I could perform confidently to 1 million people? Yeah, okay, cool. Now make one more slide. Could you do 2 slides? Yeah, okay, I could do that. Everything that we have in front of us, we break it down small enough, is something that we get to determine what success looks like. My manager and I, for years now, every time my social media grew by 1,000 followers, we celebrated it. We raced each other to, who would message them first. oh, we just hit 650. I'd be like, damn it, I was watching the following. We get to determine what success looks like, and we get to determine what wins look like. And this is another thing. If you set your metric of winning as someone else's, let's say you go to the gym and everyone else is celebrating having a six-pack. For a lot of people, if they take someone else's values of what winning is, it might take them a long time to be happy. But if they go, hey, do you know what? My metric of running or winning is running a kilometer. You get to determine where that is. And even if we create these very small accomplishable goals around us and we give ourselves permission to celebrate them, suddenly we get so caught up with the little victories that the big ones occur as a byproduct. Me chasing just 1,000 follower growth is how I got to 1 million. I never aimed for 1 million. I was too busy just looking at the very next one. Same with weight loss. People go, I need to lose 20 kilograms. I'm like, no, you don't. You need to lose 1 kilogram. Let's just lose that. What do I do? The same thing as we do for 20 kilograms, but we get the win in 2 weeks instead of in 10 months.
That's amazing. Guys, James Smith, as part of Dubai Active, which is running from October 28th until October 30th, before you leave us, we have a little game we'd love to play with you. It's called What Gave James Smith the Ick? Do you understand the ick?
Yes.
Okay.
This is for you.
This is for you, the buzzer. If it's icky, give it a buzz.
Okay.
Do you want to check it works?
I like this.
Okay, what gives James Smith the ick?
Okay, let's start with people who grunt really loud in the gym. Like, oh.
Yeah, I feel sorry for those people.
You're not a grunter?
Do you know what, right? There's a certain amount that you can lift, just lift it, right? And if there's a certain amount that you lift and it's so hard you have to grunt, maybe just do a lighter weight twice, you know? And I don't know if people want recognition. The crazy thing is most people that grunt are guys, and most guys in the gym are trying to impress other guys.
Other guys, not even girls.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is the biggest misconception. Any guy in Dubai wearing a very expensive watch is trying to impress other guys. I know because I'm one of those guys. The only reason a guy wants a big chest is to impress other guys. Most women prefer shoulders.
Well, that's with fashion. Same, we were impressing other girls.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have a huge amount of time, so I want to get through all of these. Eating with mouths open.
That is nasty, yeah. Okay, so extremely long fingernails. Oh my god.
People who like sniff and follow through like a hawk.
You want to give an example?
Sure. The fingernails one is, they're like, even when I'm dating, I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There'll always be a spontaneous play fight whenever. Long nails to me seems like I could get cut in a play fight, but the hocking one, I played rugby for 15 years, and I'm very partial to what. Have you ever heard of a snot rocket?
No.
Say you're out for a jog and you're like, I really need to. You're a bit cold, a bit congested. You do a little snot rocket. I actually think it's very, very hygienic. You think of the environment. I'm not going to waste the tissue. I'm going to find a nice bush somewhere. I'm going to go over. I'm going to press a nostril. I'm going to clear my airways. So I'm considerate of the environment. Don't want to use a tissue, you know, right? So because I have that, I can't have the double standards. And if, say I'm even with my girlfriend or whatever, and I can see she's a bit congested, I'm like, just do a snot rocket. It's fine.
And following through with the swallow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you know what? I'm probably guilty of it myself, so I can't point the fingers.
It's really all about perspective.
Yeah.
He just put this whole thing in perspective for us.
He sold it to us.
Sometimes it's the only option you've got, rather than, you know, it might be in a place where there are no tissues available, you've got no access to a toilet.
You're being eco-friendly. You're being quick about it.
Yeah.
James Smith supports the follow through. Girls with hair extensions.
And I'll tell you why. I'm partial to go for a nice swim in the sea, nice dip in the ocean. Even like when I was single, my first date would be going for a swim in the sea. And I just think it's a way to not be reliant on alcohol. It's a way to be on the move and walk with someone and do something active. I think it's quite weird to sit opposite a stranger in a dark place and just drink alcohol to get to know each other. And if a girl had hair extensions, she wouldn't want to get them wet. She didn't want to get them wet.
He knows.
Okay. So, stinky morning breath. I'm not talking about waking up with stinky breath. That is human. I'm talking about like getting out to work and then the person speaking to you just has really bad morning breath.
Reminds me of being at school when your maths teacher had coffee breath. And they come over and check your workings out and you'd be like,
It's the worst, especially to older people. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for. James Smith, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for coming back to the Lovin Dubai show. We appreciate your time so much.
thank you very much for having me.
Thank you guys for watching. We will be with you same time, same place tomorrow.
With Jason Derulo. See you then. Bye-bye.